Shadow work isn't your typical routine cleaning at the dentist. It's a full-on emotional root canal without anesthesia. And that's why people avoid it, because it's challenging, because it makes you feel things you don't want to feel. Let's say you fall and scrape your knee. It hurts to pour water and clean it, but if you don't, it gets infected. Shadow work is like cleaning the scrape. Even though it stings, it helps you heal. Or let's imagine you're a kid again and you have a monster under your bed, and instead of looking, you just sleep with the lights on. Shadow work is grabbing a flashlight, crawling under the bed, and realizing the monster was just your dirty, stinking socks and old fears pretending to be scary. People avoid shadow work because they're afraid of what they'll find inside. They were told not to cry or feel. They're too busy pretending they're fine. It's simply easier to blame everyone else. They think ignoring pain makes it go away. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. You can ignore your shadow all you want and think you're driving, but your shadow's got the Waze app open and it's pissed. We actually broke down what the shadow self is in the previous video. The parts of you hide, suppress, or deny. So check that one out first if you haven't already. In this video you're watching now, we're walking straight into the basement to meet them face to face. Shadow work starts with a mirror. Not the kind that shows you your skin, but the one that shows you your wounds. Ask yourself this. Why do you get mad when someone doesn't text back? That's a trigger. Why do you keep dating or putting up with people who treat you like shit? That's you repeating childhood wounding. Why do you keep repeating the same painful patterns? These are signals from your shadow, and if you ignore them, they get louder. Triggers aren't random. They're flashlights. They show you exactly where your power is buried. And you projecting onto others? That's the shadow in disguise. If someone annoys you for being too confident, ask yourself if you're still afraid of your own voice. The goal here is simple. Spot the pattern. Track the pain. Get brutally honest about the source. Shadow work is a lot like detective work. You're tracing the origin of a wound back to its source. Where did the wound come from? Who taught you to dim your light? Whose approval were you chasing that made you betray your own truth? Was it a parent that only loved you when you performed? A teacher who silenced your curiosity? A world that punished softness in boys and anger in girls? The shadow is shaped in those moments. Childhood wounds, neglect, rejection, performance love. Cultural and societal conditioning. Be strong, don't cry, be perfect. Personal trauma, betrayal, loss, abandonment. Moments you might have forgotten mentally, but your body remembers. And here's the thing. You don't need to relive every trauma to heal it. You just need to get real about how it's still moving through you today. This is where most people stop, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Seeing your jealousy, owning your people-pleasing, admitting your manipulations. You don't heal the shadow by hating it. You heal it by watching it, without attacking yourself. Use metaphors like, you don't scream at a child for crying, you hold them and ask why. Can you observe your shadow like a child in pain? Can you say, I see you. I know why you did that. And it's safe to come home now. Because what you reject controls you and what you embrace transforms. This is where true healing begins. Not fixing, just facing yourself fully. So what does shadow work actually look like in real life? It looks like realizing you're not mad at your partner. You're still mad at the parent who abandoned you. It looks like shaking while you set a boundary for the first time in your life. It looks like crying for 2 hours because you finally stopped pretending you have to be strong every second of your existence. You might feel crazy. You might want to give up. That's part of the detox. It will get worse before it gets better. Why? Because you're pulling your soul out of the mud. Not doing your shadow work means you end up hurting people who didn't harm you. You keep sabotaging the blessings you receive. You stay trapped in a self-image you outgrew years ago. But if you do the work, you reclaim your energy. You create your life consciously. You stop fearing your anger and start turning it into boundaries. You stop begging to be liked and start choosing to be respected. You start becoming who you were always meant to be. Shadow work is only the beginning. Shadow integration is where your power lives. In the next video, we go into what it actually looks like to reclaim those rejected parts and walk different. Shadow integration is when your no becomes sacred, your boundaries become clean, and your shame becomes fuel for your purpose. Until then, here's a journal prompt to start. What emotion do I avoid the most, and what might it be trying to tell me? What's one trigger that keeps coming up for you lately? What might it really be pointing to? You're not broken, you're just buried. And shadow work is you digging yourself out. Don't give up.